you're hanging in there with us. We definitely appreciate you for sticking here with us as we work through the technological things here. But I want to just continue right where we left off. We were talking about some of the risk of heart attack and stroke based on your blood pressure reading. Now, I want you to notice here that your risk of heart attack or stroke increases by 2 to 5 times if your blood pressure is 140 or higher. Now, let me tell you, I've worked with individuals who would be so happy if consistently they would have a blood pressure of 140. But even then, your risk is increased for having a heart attack or a stroke. So the idea is to try to get that blood pressure to a point of just about 120 over 80 or below, if you can get there. All right. As we continue here, notice what we're seeing here now. High blood pressure and kidney failure. High blood pressure and kidney failure. Now, follow me now. Your risk of kidney failure increases based on how high your blood pressure goes. So notice here 140 over 90 to 159 over 99, kidney failure by 3 times. Think about that. Now notice here now, if your blood pressure is over 159 over 99, you are 6 to 22 times greater risk of having kidney failure. So what am I trying to say here? High blood pressure is not a disease to play around with. Disease that makes a lot of noise, but no one is listening. What do I mean by that? When it comes to this, you need to know where to look and what to look for. So, number one, you want to look where the heart. Is there racing in the heart? Is there palpitations? Is there irregularity? Is there pain in the heart? Is there, you look at the kidneys, is there aching lower back? Is there changes in urinary color or smell? Is there urination patterns that change or even night sweats? These are all signs that the pressure could be high. What about the hands and the legs and feet? You look for swelling of the fingertips, you look for poor circulation, poor blood flow, whether to the hands or the feet or the legs. You look at water retention that is happening. You also look at tingling and numbness. Now, keep in mind that numbness and tingling is not only caused by blood pressure. Of course, you probably know that if you have diabetes, you can also have numbness or tingling in extremities, and we call that neuropathy. Now, so here again, you need to know where to look and what to look for if there's issue with blood pressure. What about the head? You look at the head. Is there headaches? Is there lightheadedness? Is there dizziness? Is there ringing in the ears? Is there blurred vision? All signs the pressure could be high. Also, the bowels. You look, is there constipation? Is there bloatiness or gas? What about the lifestyle? What about the lifestyle? So here we go now. Sedentary lifestyle is going to cause issues as well. A sedentary lifestyle. So one wants to be active, one wants to be, constantly moving. As we've been talking about lifestyle issues over the past couple of days, that is what we want to keep in mind. Be active, get out there, exercise, get some sunlight, movement. Remember, perfect health depends on perfect circulation. Now let's continue. What about guilt? Guilt does have a negative impact on blood pressure as well, even unconfessed sins. And the good thing about this whole seminar is that we're going to talk about things like guilt and how to deal with that, how to deal with stress, how to deal with certain issues in your life, because sometimes people suppress these things and they can have an impact on the blood pressure. And when it comes to testing, we want to do that at least twice a day when it comes to blood pressure. Now, let's move on now and let's talk about Um, let's talk about when it comes to blood pressure and its cause. Remember this, that disease never comes without a cause. So let's talk about high salt intake and a cause for blood pressure. But we want to look at a little bit of thing here, because remember I shared with you that the lady was cut salt out of her diet for how long? 10 years, if you remember, but her blood pressure still kept going up and up and up. And what happened after that? She reintroduced salt in her diet, make certain lifestyle changes, and down came the blood pressure, and her doctor was able to take her off the medication. Now, let's talk about salt a little bit. Now, Dr. Brownstein, out there in New York area, he wrote this book, and in this book he said, do I have enough salt in my body? Here is what he says. I have a book out called Salt Your Way to Health, because I've been actively using and recommending salt in my practice for 20 years. I checked every patient that walks in my door for their salt levels, and I can tell you unequivocally, the vast majority of patients are actually salt deficient. Now think about that. How could so many patients be salt deficient when we know that most people in North America eat a lot of salt? Now follow me now, you're going to get the answer in just a little while. He says, and salt is the second major constituent in our body next to water. We can't live without salt. We don't store salt. We don't store sodium and chlorine in the bodies. We have to get it from our food supply. Now follow me now. He continues, the studies clearly show that if you limit, watch this now, if you limit salt in your diet, cholesterol levels go up, triglyceride level goes up, insulin levels go up. Aldosterone and some other adrenal hormones go up, that raises the blood pressure. So follow me now. Actually, if you're not using salt, your blood pressure could actually go up. Here is why. I find that the majority of my hypertensive patients do better when they eat the right type of salt. So there is salt and there is salt, if you've ever heard that expression before. So the type of salt, you don't want to use refined salt or those, the salt most people use, the 99-cent salt. Now here's what happened. Those salt does not have trace minerals. So what is a good type of salt? So that I can use this salt that can actually help me instead of hurt me with my blood pressure. Now this does not mean that because we're talking about this salt that someone is just going to keep and dosing down with this salt. That's not what we're saying, because we got to be temperate in all things. But here is what it is. Here is a salt I'm going to tell you right after this slide. Who needs to use less salt? First, if you have kidney failure, less salt for you. These patients cannot eliminate some of the sodium in their diet, so they may need to limit salt. If they have severe congestive heart failure associated with some kidney failure, they may need to limit salt. And if there's a salt-sensitive individual out there, they may need to limit salt. That's what Dr. Brownstein says. So what is a good type of salt to use? Here it is. It is the pink Himalayan salt. Some persons also use the Celtic salt. That is fine as well. Why I recommend the pink Himalayan salt? Because it has over 84 trace minerals that inside of it, including iodine. So you want to use good type of salt. That is what Dr. Brownstein was saying. And I found that when I introduced this lady to the pink Himalayan salt, she started using it. Within the first week, she started seeing absolutely amazing results. For an individual who cut salt completely out of her diet for 10 years, and in 1 week starting to use salt, she started to see a vast difference. All right? So, is salt good? Yes, it's good. The Bible tells us, if the salt has lost its savor, it is good for nothing. So there's good salt and there's not so good salt. So one is the pink Himalayan salt. All right, let's get into some further causes of hypertension. High sodium intake, right? What is considered high sodium intake? That is sodium that is greater than 2,400 milligrams. So what does this mean? What does that look like? A teaspoon is just about 2,400 milligrams of salt. So if a person is consuming more than this, they are going to have issues with the blood pressure. So you want to be less than that amount. Here is another balancing factor when it comes to sodium, potassium. So your potassium intake should be over 4,700 milligrams. And here's one thing I want to let you know that is phenomenal as a source of potassium. Here it is. And it is probably one of the highest sources you can find out there as well. I know you're probably thinking it's bananas, but I want to let you know it's not bananas. Bananas is good for potassium, but the highest source of potassium you can find is actually black strap molasses. Believe it or not, black strap molasses. 2 tablespoons. If you're not a diabetic, you go ahead and use 2 tablespoons of the black strap molasses, and that can help you to get your potassium level up so it can help you with your blood pressure. Obesity is also another cause of hypertension. High fat foods, smoking as well. High sugar intake, especially fructose, like high fructose corn syrup, that can also increase the blood pressure. Hormonal imbalances as well can also have an impact on increasing blood pressure or as a cause of blood pressure. Lack of exercise. Let me tell you, the vast majority of individuals that we work with who have hypertension don't exercise at all. And once they start exercising, let me tell you, absolutely amazing results start to take place. You don't want to start to do too much too quick if you haven't been exercising before. You want to make sure you go very slow, just leisure walking at first, and then you can increase it. And if you need some guidance how you can do that, you can let us know. We can help you there as well. But get up, do something, do some movements. Malfunction of the adrenal or the kidneys can also cause high blood pressure as well. And here is one that many times get overlooked. Hot, spicy foods. Spices are a stimulant, and anything that stimulates will elevate. So what am I trying to say? Hot spices will also or is a cause of hypertension. So here's what happened. Many times we focus on the salt and we're not looking at the spices itself, that could be causing the pressure to go up. So what are spices? We're talking about things such as peppers, hot peppers, black pepper, white pepper. We're talking about Scotch bonnet pepper, ghost pepper, these types of peppers. Even things such as nutmeg can raise the blood pressure, all right? And even things like clove can raise the blood pressure as well. Oh, I wish I had time to break this down some more for you, but I just want to leave it there as anything that goes in hot. If it comes out hot, it can have an impact upon your blood pressure, all right? I hope you follow what I meant there. All right, so here is what we can do now if you have high blood pressure, how we can turn off the faucet so that we can eliminate the causing factor. So if you have high blood pressure, you want to know what to do? Here it is. Avoid all flesh products and their byproducts. You want to eliminate high fats from your diet. Chocolates and so on. You want to eliminate tobacco, coffee, caffeine, caffeinated beverages, stimulants. Anything that is a stimulant that you want to eliminate from your diet. Also, you want to eliminate fried foods and highly processed foods as well. Eliminate refined foods like white rice, white flour, white pasta, that kind of thing. Also, you want to avoid hot peppers. And even something here that's called, that some persons consume, pork. There is a substance in it called tyramine, which is a hypertensive amine, and it's also found in cheese. Now, we want to take some time here to talk about tyramine this evening, because this is also another thing that oftentimes get forgotten and is overlooked when it comes to blood pressure, tyramine. But before we get there, here is another thing that can cause blood pressure to go up. Eggs, baking soda, baking powder as well. Now let's talk about stimulants. One type of stimulant is tyramine. Tyramine, what is that? Tyramines in food, and where do you find that? In aged, fermented, or spoiled foods. Tyramines is a stimulant. It not only can spike blood pressure, but if you are a person who have problems with migraine headaches or any form of headaches, you want to watch out for tyramines because tyramines will trigger off a headache as well. So again, where do we find tyramines? In aged, fermented, and spoiled foods. Example, meats like pork and cheese and chocolate, caffeine, caffeinated teas, alcoholic beverages, spoiled carbs, overripe bananas, breadfruit overripe as well. These are things that will elevate the blood pressure and it can also cause an allergic reaction as well. So this is one thing I want you to understand here. Look at this equation here, or this addition thing. If you have excessive tyramines that you're consuming in your diet, like for example, aged, fermented, spoiled foods, meats, cheese, fruits, or vegetables, anything like that that is spoiled, plus you have with the excessive tyramines from any source of these, and if you that is combined with something that's called MAOIs, what's that? Monoamine oxidase inhibitors. For example, so if someone is eating aged food and they're taking antidepressant medication, that can have and create a hypertensive crisis, which could cause damage to organs. It can issues with the central nervous system, the heart, the kidneys, and other parts of the body as well. But I want you to notice here, it's not just antidepressant medication have MAOIs with it. You also have some natural or seemingly natural things as well. So if you're eating aged, fermented, spoiled foods, each cheese, or things of that sort, right? And plus you're using any of these herbs, the Syrian roll, the passion nutmeg, even turmeric, which is good. Not that for time we could get into this, but I have to suffice it to say here, you can go ahead and you can Google this information. You can find info on this about tyramine and in excess and monoamines oxalate inhibitors. You can find the impact that that can have and get more examples there. Now, what I like is this quotation that was written over 100 years now. Listen to what it says and tell me if this is not practical, what we're talking about here. Here's what it says. Nicely prepared vegetables and fruits in their season will be beneficial if they are of the best quality. Notice this, the best quality. So when you go to the grocery store, what you want to do, you want to take your time. You want to examine your fruits, examine your veggies, just to make sure they are of the best quality because you want to take the best home. So nicely prepared fruits and vegetables in their season, if they are of the best quality, not showing the slightest sign of decay, but are sound and unaffected by any disease or decay. Watch this now. More die by eating decayed fruit and vegetables and decayed vegetables which ferment in the stomach and result in blood poisoning than we have any idea of. Wow. Think about that. So a lot of people have died because they have consumed decayed fruit, decayed vegetable, and that causes blood poisoning. So when we do talks on cancer and these kind of things, we get deep into this to show the connection between what we are eating, how that could cause cancer. Because here's what happened. You could be eating that fruit and say, oh, it's a fruit, nice, glad I eat this one. But that fruit could make you sick. That fruit could cause you to have headaches. The fruit could be causing you to have, allergies. That fruit could be causing you to have problems. Not that the fruit itself is causing a problem, but it is the quality of the fruit. All right, I hope you get the point there. Now, how do we turn off the faucet? Foods to increase in fresh fruits, legumes and beans and nuts and these kind of things. Eat some raw foods as well, like your more fruits. you know, just to keep things going there. Garlic is also excellent. Squash, like your pumpkins and so on, phenomenal to help with lowering blood pressure. All right. Anything that is white in the diet, you remove. Also, you want to ensure to help you with your blood pressure, increase your water intake, get adequate sunlight, increase more fresh fruits, and do 1 hour of walking daily, brisk walking as fast as you can go. Now, hear me out. If you're not a person who's used to walking, don't try to do 1 hour walking the first day. All right. Work your way up to it, because guess what happened? If you don't work your way up to it, then that's going to cause some issues there naturally. So you want to work your way up to this. All right. So 1 hour walking, and try to go to bed by 10 p.m. at night. It makes a world of a difference when it comes to blood pressure. Now, I want to share with you real quick just a few things here. There's some natural things you can use to help with blood pressure. Garlic, for example, 3 to 4 cloves of garlic daily is excellent to help with blood pressure. There's a herb that's called linden. You can also use that to make a tea. 1 teaspoon per cup boiled water. Drink about 3 or 4 cups of that a day. That can help to calm you down. It's also sedentary in nature as well, calmative. That can help to lower blood pressure. Hibiscus tea is also phenomenal. Drink that mostly in the morning, 2 or so cups before dinner time. That can help to lower your blood pressure as well. Hawthorn, absolutely amazing to help. Flaxseed, pumpkin seed, eat a 1/4 cup of pumpkin seed. Now, let me tell you one thing here about pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seed has something in it called L-arginine. Likewise, it's in beans as well. L-arginine, the end product of L-arginine is nitric oxide. When nitric oxide enters the blood, it helps the arteries to open up so that the arteries relax and the blood can flow in much easier. So eat pumpkin seed. It is excellent to help with the blood pressure as well. And the beans are high in potassium. Thus, it will also help you with your blood pressure as well. I want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. I believe I'm out of time here, so I don't want to stay too long here because we have another presenter. So I want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was my pleasure being with you the past 3 days, and I do hope that someday again we can meet in another fashion or so on. If you have questions, or if you have any if you have any questions or so on and need any help with something, feel free to reach out to us at iHeal Program or iHealCare.org. Either one, you can get us. And if not, you can always talk with Pastor Gary, and he can get my information to you so you can reach out to us. Thank you so much again for joining us. And remember, his healing love, it can give you that healing. And he wants to heal you not only physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. So continue to join us, continue to come out night after night. We look forward to continue to seeing you. Have a wonderful rest of the evening.